Check 1, 2. I'm seeing more activity now on the mic. No idea what happened, but that means there's a reason why nobody said we can't hear you, because while I was asking, you couldn't hear me. Anyway, buenos dias, ladies and gentlemen. Hope all is well. Hope everybody had a good night of sleep and that you are ready to get this party started. On this morning, this is Jamie Irvin with the E2T morning show. Let's jump right into the market. Our Dow futures is up 0.01%. The S&P futures up 0.27%, and the NASDAQ futures up 0.73%. The stock futures rise as the Dow looks to snap longest losing streak since April. Last reported for Europe, everything was pretty much up except for stocks 600. It's the only one that was down, 0.17%. Asia was mostly down except the Nifty 50, which was up 0.89%. The last reported for us, all of our indexes were down. Currently, the VIX is down 3.09%. Right? That is something to be aware of on today. In terms of earnings, we did not have anything that was reported this morning for earnings. So now keep in mind, just because nothing was reported, that doesn't mean that nothing is happening that can cause volatility. Today is, again, Friday the 13th. We got the G7 meetings all day today, which is showing up here on ForexFactory as a yellow folder. The USD import prices month over month is also a yellow folder. Okay, and that was reported at 8:30, and it came in, the actual was better than forecast. Actually, the actual was the same as it was previously. But in terms of our investing.com calendar, besides the import and export prices, we have the U.S. Baker Hughes oil rig count, the U.S. Baker Hughes total rig count. Both of those are 2 stars. That's happening at 1 o'clock. That's so we have one more 2-star event, you want to say it that way, at 1 o'clock. Then when we're out at 4:30, we got the CFTC speculative net positions. We see these regularly: aluminum, copper, corn, crude oil, gold, NASDAQ 100, natural gas, S&P 500, silver, soybean, and wheat. And of this group, crude oil is 2 stars, gold is the 2-star, NASDAQ 100 is 2 stars, and the S&P 500 is 2 stars. This is at 4:30. So we will be nice and out of the market. Okay? I'm not saying we're safe, but I am saying we will be out of the market. Okay? All right. Let us swing on over to our Mancini numbers. I'm going to zoom in on this. Our Mancini numbers. All right. Incredible follow through in SPX on Monday. I warned this week was all about one level, 60.43 through 48 was the magnet. I was looking for a retest. We sold to 60.43.48 exact yesterday. It held. The plan today: protect gains here. Leave runner. 60.63 equal support. 60.76, 60.88 is basically what's up next. If 60.63 fails, we retest to 60.43, 60.48. All righty then. We're going to take a look at our chart. Let's take a look at our chart. And we are going to put this on a chart for SPX. Okay. You got anything you want looked at in terms of charting, please feel free to drop it in the comment box. Okay, in the comment box. Let's do that. This is my Mancini. Switches to 15 minutes. We are on Thinkorswim. Right. I'm on a different PC. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. All right. So what we had was 60.63 is support. So we're going to switch this to support. All right. 60.76, 60.88. In fact, we can just close this. We'll go 60.76. So these are the ones that are above it. And then if 60.63 fails, we're retesting to 60.43. And 60.48. Matter of fact, I'll just do it this way. 60.48, 60.43. Boom. All right. So I just put under support. It's about where that should fall to. And we'll delete those because that marks our 15-minute time frame right there. And we got the opening bell. So we'll be able to watch this and see what goes down. All right. Here we go. Good morning, S. Jones, Ward, and Curtis Lane. Curtis says Avgo showed out after earnings last night. They're up almost 20% pre-market. Yeah, not surprised. Broadcom is doing its thing, which is not a surprise at all. We're going to swing around and look at a couple of these since the market just opened. We were looking at yesterday, we looked at SPY, right? And SPY looks like it is in a zone, in a channel, if you will. It came up into this. So I'm trying to remember what day we were talking about it, but we were saying that since this was an all-time high and there were sellers up here, that it was possible that there would be some rejection. I believe we were talking about that. Not being sure if it was going to go straight through or push out. But based on the pressure on these two candles is what I saw anyway. I felt like when it came back over here that there may be some pressure. Now, I wasn't sure if it would push it back out like it did, but felt like there was some sellers sitting in this area above 609. Still looking for, anything that would be a seller's level above it. For those who are into chart patterns, by the way, do I have one? I do have one. I was thinking this looked like a double top, right? And what I mean is just by the way this was shaped, the way this was seemed to be taking shape, obviously not a guarantee, but the way it was starting to take shape, it looked like this would have been the pole running up. And so we hit a point, came down, came back up. Now it was it wouldn't even surprise me if it either comes down here again and goes back up, but at some point, this could be coming back down this way. No guarantee, but we know it can also go up. But I was judging it from the way this one looks right here. All right, this is what's called a reversal pattern. That's what it looked like. That's what it reminded me of. I can't say what it looked like, but that is what it reminded me of. The other thing, just looking to, what I do is I look at the patterns to kind of anticipate where price could be going. Obviously, you can't predict it, but you can always look at the candles and the formations, the overall formations, and put it on the chart to see if you have an idea of what you're seeing. This looks like it could be, to me, a double top, triple top. There's a couple other ones that could fit into that description, just based solely on that. But double top and triple top are the ones that caught my attention first, which were reversal patterns. So for me, it wouldn't surprise me if eventually it starts coming down, but at about 600-ish, somewhere in there, is definitely where I would be waiting to see what happens. And that's what they call a psychological number. So good morning, Tamar. Good morning, Alyssa. And there's that for SPY. So we're too early, obviously, in the market to start looking in terms of getting into anything. But I always like to at least take a peek and at least see what the going zones is. So this early, I wouldn't expect there to be any major premium. This is $8 on $100 collateral. That's just looking at it, this morning, brand new, fresh out the pack, if you will. So it'll be too soon for me to even consider getting in. But like I said, I will look to see what's going on. 13 cents on $100 collateral. That was an iron condor. So, yeah. So somebody mentioned, actually, somebody mentioned two semiconductor stocks. I got Avgo is Broadcom can sometimes be a little complicated because of what they do. Some people would classify them under semiconductor, and then because of they got stuff and everything, some people actually have them classified under communications. So I've seen them under both. But this is what happened when it gapped up to recent high at the very least. Let's check and see. So yeah, this would be all-time high as far as I can tell. That's happening. So this would be something to behold. So here's what I can tell you about this. This is going to be, I don't know if anybody currently trades Avgo or not. I don't have them on any type of list. Let me see. Nope. But I want to check out their ATR. It's 8.5. Looks like they have earnings coming up pretty soon as well. Wait. So earnings is in about 10 days for Avgo. So if you decide to trade it, make sure you are aware of that. All right. If anybody trades it, let us know in the comment box what you think about it. You like trading it? Got any tips on it, etc., etc.? That'd be awesome. If you're looking for a formation in terms of trading formation, I would be sticking to the buyer zone. It officially has no official seller zone right now. So It's going to be looking for the seller zone. I would expect with the ATR only being 8, if I was trading this, I would not assume this gap up. What is that? 21? Well, what? 180 to, man, dude, that's what, almost $30. So that means there's buyers in here. There's buyers in here. So at $8, something serious would have to happen for this to just, in my opinion, for this to just blow right through here all in one day, right? So the way I see it, I would not be against watching that to see what's going to go down. That was on yesterday. I mean, some people would even wait until Monday to trade it, but some people do trade it the next day after earnings. When I say it, I mean a ticker after earnings. So I've seen that done a couple different ways. It's your prerogative. You're the CEO of your own portfolio. What I am seeing is that this looks to be a 2.5 spread. And as of right now, you'll be, was that 28 cents? So you can always, I'll be increasing this to 30 to make sure this is a 2.5 spread. That's $250. Collateral, I will be increasing it to collect 30 cents or $30. So that I'm definitely getting 10% return on collateral. That's the way I would do that. If I was trying to get in. And then I will be on this side. Actually, I wouldn't be on this side. I probably wouldn't be messing around at all on the call. This is the reason why I wouldn't be messing around on it. Is because I tend to get burned when it comes to, I consider this stepping in front of a moving train because I'm expecting price to probably go up. While it's bouncing off of here, I'm expecting it to go up. So that's usually where I mess up and get into a trade in the direction that current price is moving. So I'll definitely do the buyers. But for those of you who enjoy living on the edge, what I'm seeing is above price, 85% out the money, about 42 right now anyway. Now here's the thing to keep in mind. This is the 5 spread above price. You're looking at the 5 spread up here. Right down here was 2.5 spread. Up here is a 5 spread. Now, that's fine if you're doing one or the other. If you wanted to do an iron condor, all you would really do in this situation, usually with iron condors mean you'll be doing, and I'm speaking to the sellers, you'll be doing a put credit spread, and call credit spread on the same ticker, same expiration. If you decide to do it that way, normally what will happen is you will want it to have the same spread on both sides. Well, this is the 2.5 spread. This is a 5 spread. So what you could do, 2 things you could do. On this side, you can do it just like we did a second ago and just do this. Since that's 2.5, up here, this is a 5 spread, so that's $500. So you can just increase this contract. And now since it's 2 contracts over here, that's going to equal 500. So that will still be $500 collateral. So it's even on both sides in terms of the amount of money. The other way you could do that would be to just go 210. Let's say if we're selecting 210 and then just select 205. That's a 5 spread as well. Now, why do we care about whether or not it's the same on both sides? If you do a 2.5 spread over here and you do a 5 spread over here, for collateral, they're going to hold the higher amount. So that would mean that they will be holding $500 on this side even though you still have a trade over here that's 250. So if they're gonna be holding my money, I want to increase the chances that price can only be in one spot at a time. So I like to have it where it's gonna be the same on both sides. You'll hold the same. It'll be you're gonna hold 500. That's great, cool. But let me come over here and collect some more premium. since you're gonna be holding the higher amount over here. That's the way I like to do that. Okay, so increasing it to a 5 spread keeps it the same amount on both sides. But doing 2.5 spreads in this case will still give me the same amount of collateral. Ready? All right. Good morning, Janae. Nankale Rabushe. Good morning to the Queen of Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. Jamie, your 0DTE. SPX Iron Condors. When during the day do you decide to get in? Not investment advice. We're asking about, she's asking about the 0DTE Iron Condors that are done on SPX. A lot of us in the trading group with E2T, to be honest with y'all, before I answer this question, she said no investment advice. I truly appreciate you acknowledging that. So we trade I actually trade Russell 2000. However, when I see opportunities in SPX, I take advantage of the opportunities. So the correct answer to her question about when I enter, it depends on when the opportunity comes up. So I'll give you an example. Let's go with this 15-minute chart. This is yesterday. So for example, somewhere around here. Now the example that I'm giving you, I wasn't looking necessarily at the candles, but I'm pointing to the candles so I could try to remember the time frame that I was dealing with. So it was somewhere between 2:30 and 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, maybe even 2:15. But that's when I really start looking to see not only what's happening in this situation, so whether or not this is trending downward or what have you. I always switch it to whatever time I have left. So at that time it would have been I think I have, is it on this one or my other PC? On my other PC I have it I don't know why this keeps resetting, by the way. I have it set to do 2 hours. I have a 2-hour one, something like that. So when it gets around that time, I can just, look at, this is how much time is left in the trading day. And I'm looking at a chart that matches that. So I was looking at the direction. I usually look at the direction. So that helps. I'll use my moving averages to tell me, okay, it's bearish during this time frame or bullish. I make that one of the criterion so that I know if it's bullish, like this would have been bullish. So my first instinct is to do a call credit spread above it. Right. Again, I start off by looking at that, and then we just pretend that this is the afternoon. What I'm looking for then, once I do that, is this is the probability out the money. So in the afternoon, once I start seeing it getting closer to 90% out the money and the delta of about 10, those are the two numbers that I'm looking for. 90% out the money, delta of about 10. The SPX strategy is a strategy, actually. The overall strategy was created by a mathematician. So it was strategy created by a mathematician by the name of Arlissa Pinkleton. Yep. And so Yes, people will utilize her strategy, and it's based really on the SPS playbook. I wasn't answering that question to do this, but it actually is the fact. The SPSplaybook.net, that is where the general ideas come from. The version of the 90% out the money and the Delta 10%, someone actually was tweaking this name. I only know him as Yancey. I don't know what his actual name is, but Randy Yancey, I think is his actual name, but it was posted in our Telegram group. So he tweaked this and used the 90% and the 10%. And I use that as I added that to part of my gauge. Right. So actually, currently the SPXplaybook.net is actually on sale right now. I'm sorry. SPS Playbook is on sale right now. SPXplaybook.net is the website. I don't want y'all to think the website is on sale for $27. So anyway, there's a secret to making 10% profits every single day. It is a playbook. The best thing about it, like I said, you can take it and then you can tweak it to whatever it is that you're doing. So that is part of what I've been doing. 0.9 point. So the 10 delta, roughly 10 delta, and 90% probably out the money. So it's not a particular time that I'm necessarily trying to get in, but I'm looking at the numbers. I really don't want to stay in the market a long period of time. So I don't necessarily love getting in at 2 o'clock or what have you. But when you're getting in, or 2:30 or what have you, but when you're getting in that early, like a whole lot can change, a whole lot does change. But so it's not a particular time of the day necessarily. Like there's not a specific time, I should say. But the second half of the day, I would say usually I start looking definitely like 2:15-ish to get in that situation. What also helps me gauge what's happening is when I look at current price and I look at implied volatility and I add this number to current price, that tells me, that kind of gives me a gauge on what strike I should use for the call credit spread, and subtract this from the current price to give me an idea for the put credit spread. So I kind of have a couple different, I guess you could say checks and balances, if that makes sense, to decide what the strike will be. But I definitely gauge it on what's happening, with those two numbers. So sometimes it'll say maybe sometimes I'll see, as an example, it'll be the afternoon and the out the money might be, let's say 90%, 91%. The delta might be 14. I've had that happen. And so I will still consider getting into it because I got my 91 that I'm looking for. I'll wait to see what happens with the delta. But for me, that just means I'm probably going to get a little bit more premium, just depending on what's happening with those other, checks, I guess you could say, things that I checked. Sometimes it'll be the opposite, where the delta might be 0.07. The out the money might be 88%. I'll still take a look at it and watch it and, do the other checks to see if that's what I'm getting into in terms of time frame, things of that nature. So I'm looking for certain numbers, not necessarily a time. I'm sure I beat the dead horse to death, but I hope I answered the question. Do you have any more questions on that? If I didn't make it clear, please ask another question as a follow-up. All right. So this is the first candle. Whenever I say candle, I always want to say it like Rick James says it. Candles, you know what I'm saying? Every time I hear the word candles. All right. So this is the gap up right here, 15-minute chart, SPX. This is what's happening. This is that first candle. So I will mark this Don't act like I'm the only person that does that with music either. By the way, you hear a song and it starts triggering other stuff, because no matter what is happening, as soon as I hear 112, I always say where the players dwell. I don't care what we're talking about. It's just the number. Like that, like Biggie ingrained that into my head. Right? Just counting regular numbers when I get to 112. I always have to say that, where the players dwell. Y'all understand what I'm saying? All right, so we have marked our first 15-minute candle right here, and we're waiting for the breakout on SPX. That's what we're gonna wait for and see what happens. Okay. Let's look at Microsoft. This is what it's doing on them. This is what it's doing on the monthly chart. Look at that run up. Dude. Microsoft ain't playing around. This is some serious seller pressure right here. Not even at all-time highs. It is getting on up there. So for charting purposes, all right. Y'all, this is totally off topic, but I feel a certain type of way, man, about I feel a certain type of way that Disney decided to come out with this Mufasa Lion King movie. I'm first of all, I cannot tell y'all how emotionally traumatized I was when Mufasa died. It was traumatic, dude. It was traumatic. I ain't gonna even lie. I never got over it. And now y'all want to do a movie. Talking about how Scar got his scar or something. I'm like, this feel like y'all about to tell me something I ain't gonna like. No, you can't do that. Mufasa's not here to defend himself, is all I'm saying. And James Earl Jones isn't here to defend him either. So no, I don't know if I'm watching. I don't know if I'm going to watch. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. Don't tell me something I don't want to hear. All right, so this is Microsoft. Here we go. We got a seller zone right here. I'm gonna zoom this in for you. Leg in, base, leg out, right there. And then we got a buyer zone. Leg in, base, leg out. There's a bit of a gap up right here. And we got some rejection right here. All right, let's just say, you said you sound like my daughter. She watch it every day, cry every single day. Dude, listen, emotionally, that was just, man, like, I'm the type of person I could rewatch something I don't know how many times and find something new. Like, if I really like something, I couldn't do that too many times with The Lion King. I couldn't. I consider it one of the greatest Disney animated movies of my lifetime, but yeah. It probably was the way it happened. That's probably what traumatized me, you know. She said her daughter kept watching it, kept crying. I'm with you, sister. All right. There are people who would be looking to get in and out of Microsoft on today. Okay? There are some who would be. Me personally, I would not. But Let's say you're one of those. This is a 2.5 spread, collecting 11 or 10 or $11. Now I prefer to 10%. I think I like to collect, but early. This is kind of earlier in the day, so we don't it's going down quite yet. But the premiums are going to be lower if we decide to do this today. What is this? 9 cents? Ooh, 11. All right. So that was an iron condor type situation. You might be getting closer to collecting 10%, but I would be more inclined to go like a week out and see what is happening over there. So let's do. I'll be about right here. I'll be looking at this 440, 2.5 spread, collecting 31. This is a put credit spread. So definitely 10% return on collateral. 440 puts you right here on the chart. As a seller, you're right here in this area. Okay. In other words, I'm saying you are below current price. Okay. The very least, we're below current price. What I also like is this. At least one, I'm pretty sure if we start digging, we will find some other parity lines. Essentially, this is the line where price has been support and resistance. It was resistance here, became support. Actually, it broke through and then became support right here. So anything could happen as it comes back down. But that's a 441 is what I would be looking at. Since this seems to be trying to go up, I would be okay with this on this side. So that's pretty decent. Okay, with that is pretty decent. Yeah. Now this is another one of those that some people would look for an iron condor, for example. And some folks would go above this up here, 456. Matter of fact, there is a seller zone above this, as an example. Now remember, the high is 468. But you'll be close to the high. So for those who wanted an iron condor experience, this is a 2.5 spread, collecting about $33. Not bad. Definitely still over 10% return on collateral. Right? Not be upset with that at all. So at least for the morning, that's looking pretty legit. This is Russell 2000 Rut, aka my baby mama. Yes, for those of you with not betting my baby, this is her. This is her. Yeah, she's been tripping lately. So here's what we got. Duplicate. This is the first 15 minutes. She has broken out of the 15-minute. That's one thing I will say that I do. I always say that I do like that Russell will break out of his 15-minute before SPX sometimes. Right? What I'm looking for is just I usually will mark. I'm going to mark this. This isn't a parity line, but something is obviously happening here. So I at least want to prepare the chart. So when I'm watching, I do the same thing with SPX. When watching the chart, just to have an idea of there may be a bounce, there may be some pressure, maybe something going on. This is a 15-minute chart. So I will be looking right here. Boom. Let's turn around here before as well. All right. And there you have it. So this is broken out of its 15-minute chart, or sorry, 15-minute zone. And that's what it's doing. So if you are trading the breakout, that has broken out. Let's look at SPX and see what it has done. Oh, it's trying to do the same thing. Has pushed down into this gap that it created this morning, which should not be a surprise. And again, all I do is actually watch that just to see. I would imagine that if this price comes down to 60.63 and comes below it and retests and bounces off that retest, we're probably going to see that's when it'll probably keep moving down, right? That's what I will be looking for. That's what I will be looking for on that particular chart. We have a small account growth accelerator happening. It's not a challenge, by the way. I almost said it's a movement. It's not a challenge, but it's called the small account growth accelerator. Turning 1K into 6K or more without staring at your screen all day, right? So the idea is to start with $1,000. There's semi-passive strategies, consistent growth, supportive coaching and community, and option seller membership, right? Small account, big goals. People always assume that you need a whole lot of money to get started trading. And when people ask how much do they need, I always say you actually don't need anything to get started because your first investment is your mind. And that sounds corny, but it's a fact. Option sellers membership is our membership. You can learn, trade, profit the seller's way. Again, support a community for trading. It's profitable strategies for less screen times, daily profits to grow your account, trading and support. We have, if you are interested, okay, we have something that I think you should be aware of. Free trading resources. E2T-freebies.com. Don't act like you don't like free stuff. Now, come on. Come on. You can't fool your boy. I know y'all like free. Y'all like free stuff. Those are free resources that anybody can take advantage of regardless of where you're at on your trading journey. And I would highly encourage you to take advantage. And I don't even know if, I don't think it shows up as a link that you can click, but I'm going to type it in here. E2Tfreebies.com. All right. Let's swing back to, I just closed it on accident. Let's swing back to our information. Currently, the Dow Jones, the industrial average, is down slightly, 0.02%. The S&P 500 is down 0.17%. The NASDAQ is, the S&P is up 0.17%. The NASDAQ is up 0.47%, but the Russell 2K is down 0.23%. The VIX is down as well. 2.08%. It is at 13.63. Now, what makes this interesting is that normally, I shouldn't say normally, many times when the VIX is down, you'll see the index usually up. This is a case where, and I kind of rarely see it, where some of these are down and some of these are up. So while this is another example of how all these things are kind of a general gauge, but not the law in terms of what we see and what we use as part of our tools and processes. The last thing we'll take a look at is, Taiwan Semiconductor. This was on the list in the chat box. I have not charted this one in a while. I have been paying attention to TSM for probably a couple years now. I'm not surprised that they have kind of started getting more attention, and more is probably, I don't know how we quantify more, but I've been seeing, at first you wasn't really hearing that much about them. And then all of a sudden, people outside of like Kramer and things like that, more traders that trade for income started hearing about, started talking about them more. And the reason why I knew it was a matter of time was because of they're behind over 80% of the semiconductors, like worldwide. Definitely when you're talking, mobile devices, it's not even close. Another way of saying it, in my opinion, is, well, let me say it this way. NVIDIA outsources to these guys. Apple outsources to these guys. So that's why they're significant. This is actually a buyer's formation right here. Leg in, two in the base, leg out. That's what I would consider that. This is a gap up from today that somebody was mentioning. Right. So, and this is the seller zone. So this is right in between. So depending on how you look at this seller zone, but if you look at it leg in, two in the base, leg out, which is, not sure how else we would see that. I would look at this as a potentially weak seller zone, actually. My accountability partner would probably do it something like this and just include all of them in the base so that she could have a strong leg in, a strong leg out. That's possible too. So I've seen this charted multiple ways over time. I'm not one to say which one is correct or incorrect. I always say, just make sure, however you're looking at it, make sure your pocketbook is comfortable with what you charted. I am clear on this buyer zone, which is what I would be looking at if I was looking to get into this. Probably not today. I'll look at the premiums for today, but this is a 2.5 spread. So I would at least be peaking. You got the peak. At least peak. It's a 2.5 spread. So I'll be looking to collect $25 unless I was doing this as a condor. But I'll be looking for next week anyway. This is 90% off the money. On this call credit spread side, it's 12. So those two together for expiration of today, as an iron condor, collecting about 10% return on collateral. Okay, but let's look at next week though. Let's look at next week. See what next week talk about. Okay. So I'll be about here. 2.5 spread, collecting about 30. $30, something like that. If you're at 190, that puts you right here. So you are below. This is why I mark the gaps on the charts. Because I look at these gaps as buffers, kind of. Since I know there's buyers sitting in there, then I feel more comfortable getting below it. It's like having another it is another zone as far as I'm concerned, but I would feel comfortable being at this 190 simply because I know I have like an extra cushion sitting there. That's not the only reason, but it is one of the reasons I would be okay with something like this. And then some people would go, as a matter of fact, we'll go YouTube AM. Actually, like that one. And if we were going above, I probably would be doing. I wouldn't get in right now. I don't know what this joker's about to do. Give it some time just to let it see, because I consider this to be a weak zone. Probably get it a couple of days. Let it simmer. But if somebody was getting in though, if you're doing, let's say 78% out the money, right? It's not illegal. About 43 cents. Right? That's a decent return on collateral. But remember, this is what I mean by stepping in front of a moving train. This is my example for that. So we would be up here. So 210. So we'd be up here for 210. That's where that strike would be, is 210. Above this, it's trying to push up this way. And even though the premium is decent, that also means your premium will be decent when price is pushing towards it. So that's something to be aware of. Good morning, Drew. All right. So I try to play it safe with these trades. Another way of saying I ain't trying to lose money unnecessarily, player. If I can avoid it. All right. So here's what happened. This gap up, this gap was a buyer's gap. He has buyers sitting in there. This is a strong rejection of buyers right here. Who knows what's about to go down for the rest of the day? But for right now, you definitely have those buyers sitting in there making their presence felt. On Russell, I'm going down. We still got this happening. I believe this was the one where I was saying if it came back and tried to retest or something, that it might continue down. Was that this one? So this is definitely outside of its 15 minutes and may find some places, one of these, maybe where it decides to turn around. Who knows? All right. Who knows? We'll see how it ends up looking by the end of the day. Okay. All minds clear. So here's what we're going to do. Our E2T daily declaration. By faith, I am a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. Money likes me. Because money is comfortable around me, it is drawn to me. E2T daily prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. able to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. Okie dokie, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, although we have yellow folders, the only yellow folder for ForexFactory is the G7 meetings. And then after 1 o'clock, the 2 stars for 1 o'clock coming from investing.com. We have the 4:30. We'll be out of the market for the CFTC aluminum or speculative net positions. So after 1 o'clock, there's no more quote unquote economic things being reported on this side. So still be careful because news can happen at any given time. All right. We want you to stay green, get this money. If you have any questions, you can always leave us a message and or tag us, especially in Telegram. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in on today. We appreciate having you. Please click like, thumbs up, join the, subscribe, join us with our group at educatortotrader.com. That's the number 2, educator2, the number 2, trader.com. And we will see you all either on Sunday for the 5 o'clock live or on Monday for our next stream. Okay. You all have a good one. And once again, thank you for tuning in.